All right. Thank you, Days. Awesome. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I am Shanetta. Just hello again to everyone who has been committed to this wonderful program. And I just want you all to just get excited for tonight. We have two amazing presentations from our speakers of their Q&A with us to go over these amazing questions for tonight for our students. I'm just so excited. And I'm so glad that everyone is here for tonight. As our students come in, Days will be taking care of them, making sure that they get inside of our night tonight. And let's welcome to the NC WIT Aspirations in Computing and the Minnesota STEM Partnership Women in STEAM Movement 2022. Hello, hello to our students and volunteers. Another hello to our registered young ladies. Thank you all so much. I'm Shanetta Spriggs, and I am a multimedia designer, entrepreneur, and marketing engineer for the Minnesota STEM Partnership. This is week 4, the second professionals night, and it is the Careers in Technology Experience Professionals Night. We have been enjoying introducing you to the incredible world of STEAM opportunities with science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And please be sure to follow us on Instagram at MN STEM Partners and Facebook at Minnesota STEM Partnership to stay connected and use the hashtags. Please use them. Hashtag MSP Women in STEAM and hashtag MSP Movement. So I'm gonna go ahead with housekeeping, and I'm gonna keep it short this time because we have been doing this for a good little bit, like all of October. So this is super exciting. Okay. So for the girls, this is the final night of our program. This is bittersweet, but again, your Zoom link and registration upon joining this program is yours and yours only. As you stay connected with us, we will always do our part to keep you updated with the proper link. So make sure you stay in touch with us. Everyone get comfortable. We're all actually online tonight. And so we want to let you know that, you can have something to drink nearby, you can mute your microphone, and when you do have something to say in the Zoom chat, put it there. And even though there's a raise hand feature, you can also just make sure that you just raise your hand at the end of the Q&A, and we'll get to those questions as soon as possible. So we will be your voice for that, and we'll make sure you can have a chance to respond. So there will be the breakout rooms as well for women in STEAM as needed. And in those breakout rooms for training, you may raise your hand and ask questions within those for our students. So before we close out for the evening, we will have final questions from everyone, including our students, to make sure they get theirs in first. And, we're in the lobby right now, so you all can show your emojis, your hearts. If you're on camera, you can go ahead and just show your heart, thumbs up, whatever you want to do to show support. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. So thanks. Yeah, go ahead, Marquita. Go ahead, Emma. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you all been here this whole time. So ladies, I'm going to be your voice again if you have any questions whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. I'm Shanetta Spriggs again, and I'm going to be introducing our amazing panelists. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're good? Everyone good though? Let me check in with everyone first. We're good. Yep. Okay. Good. All right. So we have Amia Gooding. Amia is originally from Eastern Iowa and now lives in Rochester, Minnesota. She currently works in the field of technology at IBM, which stands for International Business Machines. She is an alumni of Davenport Central High School and furthered her education at Iowa State University. Outside of work, she loves to travel, hang out with her friends, and volunteer whenever she can. She has recently started to pick up reading again and tries to read as many different genres as she can. That is awesome, Amia. We would love to hear if there was a specific book that actually got you back into reading. So that's super cool. I think that is an awesome hobby to have. All right. And next, we have Keila Rye. We have Keila Rye Mintan. And Kilarai, also known as Kiki, was born and raised in Cameroon, West Africa, and moved to the United States of America with her family. She's the second oldest daughter of 5 girls, and she's the only engineer rocket scientist in the family. She attended Como Park High School in St. Paul. She attended the University of Minnesota, where she earned her bachelor's degree in aerospace, engineering, and mechanics in 2010. She then went on to complete her master's degree in industrial engineering in 2012. She currently works as an IT project manager and Scrum Master, helping teams on their agile journey to generate better business value. She previously worked as a project manager, 787 payloads, design engineer in the SEATS integration team, SIT, organization. She worked as a liaison MRB engineer for the 77X Composite Wing Fabrication Center and previously worked for a few years as an Interior Responsibility Center and Electrical Systems Responsibility Center, IRC, ESRC Liaison MRB Engineer for all programs in Everett. She's a recipient of the BEYA 2019 Modern Day Technology Leader Award, and in 2020 received the Women of Color STEM Conference Award for Rising Star. In her spare time, she loves to partake in STEM projects, working with students 11 to 17 years old, coach people on professional interviewing skills, and spend time with family and traveling around the world. Awesome. Let's give them a wonderful hand clap, round of applause. Thank you so much, ladies. We're going to go ahead and keep going forward. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions. Yes, Emma. And if there's anyone who has a question, please check the chat. I know we are so excited for this. All right.
Yeah, looking good.
Good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to go into making sure the agenda and goals are covered for tonight right before we go into this amazing Q&A. So we want to make sure that after the Q&A, we want to answer all questions from our students while supporting them. So if there are any questions, they will ask, and then we'll make sure that they are asked priority first in case anyone else has any feedback. We also want to make sure that our replay registrants get all of this great information. So we have to also be mindful of those students. Our mentor breakout training sessions will be continued from last week to support our students by asking and answering their questions while providing feedback and tips related to their STEM journey and STEAM journey. So let's go ahead for the Q&A. I'm loving the smiles, everyone. So I want to go ahead, and it's so awesome. Like Kiki was like, you can call me Kiki. We have Amia. We're just so excited to have you both here. And I'll go ahead and start with Kiki. Did you stumble into your career or did you pursue it in advance?
So I would say, hopefully you guys can hear me. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here, especially the students. I'm really excited to be part of this event. I'm really honored, actually, I should say. So for me, I wouldn't say I stumbled into it in a way from the way it's molded me so far, but I started out having interest in it. So as a child growing up in Cameroon, I really loved planes. It was not something I saw often, whether it's flying around or girls having interest in, but I really love planes. So while girls were getting Barbies and such for Christmas gifts, I got planes. So I really appreciated my dad for that. He'd get me planes or helicopters. And so, going through school here and, in high school, that's when they start asking you, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you graduate? And I was like, I'm not really sure, but I knew I was good at math and sciences. So I knew I was going to do something in that realm. And they said, well, the best thing to do there is engineering. So I'm like, okay. And I still had that love for wanting to, or the desire to want to be a pilot or be in that type of environment. So then when I started my undergraduate class classes, I decided to take an introduction to mechanical engineering intro course, and the same with introduction to aerospace engineering course. And once I got into the aerospace classroom, I loved it. I loved it so much. I actually got an A. And I also really liked the fact that the person who was teaching the class looked like me. So that was very exciting. Not only was he Black, but he too was from Ethiopia. So that even encouraged me more to know that, you know, Africans do this as well as Black people in this field that is very, you don't find many people like us in that field. Because when I started school there, in my class of like 100, we were about 3 people that were quote unquote Black or colored, so to speak. Forgive my language on that one. So yeah, so that was how, you know, I feel like that even empowered me more to keep going, because I really want to be the difference I want to see. It was definitely a long road. I did not go through the traditional 4 years college route, because, you know, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then, you know, after that, now I started looking for jobs, and thankfully I got a job at the Boeing company after a while. So I would say that, you know, it was kind of stumbling because I got favor, but I also had to try things to get there, because that desire, I want to pursue aerospace, whether it was being a pilot, being an engineer where I'm problem solving, things having to do with airplanes. That's what I wanted to do. So I kind of, you know, stayed along that path, and in ways I'm still along that path, but I'm doing a different role now, you know, even on the airline side.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. I can relate to that, because when I was younger, I told my mom I didn't want just dolls. I also wanted the cars that came with the dolls. Then I
There
wanted
you go.
actual cars. Then I wanted Army men, Legos. And they were like, well,
Nice.
she's interested in this other stuff too. And then when I was able to ask for a computer at 12, I was like, can I have a computer and a bike? Like, I really want a computer.
Wow.
So I love it. I'm pretty sure a lot of us in here can remember those days. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. But let's go ahead with Amia. Go ahead and let us know the same thing. Did you stumble into your career, or did you pursue it in advance?
I would say it's a mixture also. So for me, I grew up and I was always very interested in like being a doctor. So I kind of went through like all the different professions. Initially, I was like, oh my God, being a doctor sounds so cool. Like that's going to be so fun. And then I'll be honest, I'm not somebody that necessarily like loved going to school. Like it wasn't always like my number one. Like I liked everything else around school, but I wasn't always like, this is going to be super fun for me. But as I got older, I realized I started joining different clubs. And for me, I joined mock trial actually. So for a while there, I was very passionate about possibly becoming a lawyer. And so I would participate in mock trial. I did a state of Iowa like youth program where we helped pass legislation. Like I really thought that that was the path that was for me. However, on this side, while doing all of these things, I was still very good at math, still very good at science. And then I kind of learned how long it took to become a lawyer. And so that kind of discouraged me and made me want to question a little bit, because I was like, oh man, I'm getting burnt out here. But in actuality, I started talking to my mom and she was like, oh, have you heard of this career? Like it's engineering. She works at an army base. And so like a lot of the engineers would come in and work with her. So she's in logistics. So she's always helping everyone, because like with logistics, all of the artillery that's coming in, she has to talk to them, help them navigate it. They're asking her all types of like different questions. And she's like, hey, Amia, like I've been talking to them and these are the things that they were interested in. You know, maybe you should start thinking about that. And so for me, I actually kind of started a bit early and did in some ways pursue my degree early. So I'm an electrical engineer by bachelor's. And I went to my first year of high school and saw that they had a project lead the way class. So I always liked building things. I always thought that that would be kind of fun. And so I went to my guidance counselor's office and I was like, hey, you know, like I would like to do this, you know, like sign me up for this class. Let's see what it's like. And I will say it wasn't the best experience. It was kind of surprising. So like I went in, said I wanted it. And she was like, are you really sure that that's what you would like to do? You know, all the other girls, they're doing like cooking. We have these other ones. And for me, I'm one of those people where it's like, well, you can't really tell me no. I really would like to do that. So she pushed back and I was like, you know what, mom, like I've never had my mom really have to come up to the school, but I was like, mom, she's not letting me. Like, I think you're gonna have to come here and help. Like, tell her that I want to do this. I need some reinforcements. And so after figuring that out, I got into the Project Lead the Way class. And then again, same experience where you're not necessarily surrounded by others that look like you, but I was lucky enough to have at least another female in the class, and we kind of paired up and worked together. And I found that I was like, wow, this stuff is like really, really fun. I do like it. And so then throughout my college career, this was high school, any of my other high school classes, I went ahead and started taking like coding classes. So I took one of our dual credit JavaScript classes. I didn't know too much about it, but luckily the teacher for that was a woman, and she was super passionate about getting people into engineering. And like, she was a very big advocate for Iowa State. So like all of her kids went, and then like all the kids like higher than me in the grades, she was like, yeah, and this one's working here and this one's doing that, and you're going to do that too. So I did have the experience where she then helped motivate me even more and was like, yeah, this is something you can do. Here's how you do it. Here's some steps. And she was very big on having students come back and collaborate with us. And so we had a lot of presentations on it. So I'd say in some ways early on, I stumbled into it, but once I kind of got into high school, it accelerated from there. But then where it really diverged for me was, would I like to go into computer engineering, or do I want to go into electrical engineering? So I was very strong in math. I really liked the computer programming side of it. And in some ways, I think that it would have been nice for me to learn more about computer engineers. But to me, an electrical engineer was somebody that is very hands-on. You're building these circuits, you're going to be making PCB boards, printed circuit boards, and all types of different things that were really in the lab, which is what I had enjoyed about my project class. And so that's where I kind of fell into the career of electrical engineering.
Oh, wow. Okay. Michael said this was going to be a great night. This is great. Both of you, seriously. And my husband, he actually works in logistics for the military as well, too, for Army. So yes, Aisha is giving the hand claps. Like, you all doing a great job already. First question. Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and get into the second one. What was it about your profession that initially grabbed your attention? Kiki, would you like to go ahead and answer that one first?
Oh yeah, look, I'm a big kid. It was the idea of being around planes all the time. Okay, because again, like I love aerospace, so I really wanted to be around planes. And because, you know, working at Boeing, we are right there with the flight line. So I literally walk out and I'm seeing a 747, I'm seeing a 787, a 777. And, you know, part of my job there, I think I really started up in the right position for me. I like to problem solve, and I wanted to be able to go on planes. So my job was a liaison engineer. And, you know, my role consisted of looking, you know, as they're building parts, if there are any errors that are made, I have to look up drawings, talk to design engineers, customers, suppliers, and figure out how to fix it to make sure that they're within FAA compliance. So FAA, for anyone that does not know, is the kind of like our bosses, so to speak, in the airline world, right? So we have to follow their rules and regulations for all airlines across, whether you're in the US, Europe, what have you. So that was really great because I learned a lot about hands-on problem solving, because when you're leaving college, you have all this knowledge of what an engineer should be versus now when you're actually applying that. So I think that, you know, getting to actually look at drawings, you know, that are not just in Pro Engineering or SolidWorks and things like that. And now you're also taking that practical that's online and applying to, you know, the physical. And then you're seeing that, oh, this actually doesn't work, it doesn't pair up. How do we troubleshoot this? How do we do a root cause analysis and things like that? So I would say that, you know, being able to now have that hands-on experience and, you know, tying, you know, the classroom knowledge now with the practical knowledge and problem solving is what I would say grabbed me the most about my job, because it really taught me now to have that engineering mindset. And I feel like it is also applied to a lot of my life too. So you're not just here to do a job because you're thinking about, how can I make this better? How is this going to benefit, you know, my team or this plane, right? And I'm not just thinking about, patching it up for now. I'm thinking that what fix am I doing now that will impact this airplane for 20 years, 30 years, because that's what is supposed to be the lifetime of an airplane, at least 20 to 30 good years. So whatever I am doing to make this better, I have to be thinking that far in advance. So that required me to be a little bit more detail oriented, pay attention, right? Because any mistakes you make, you will be accountable for it. So yeah, that was the part that really grabbed me the most about my first job, I would say. Now, rolling that over, the part that has maintained me in either engineering or IT in this STEAM environment is problem solving, right? Continuous improvement and collaboration. So those are the things that have kind of been key throughout the career that I keep maintaining and want to keep seeing in different aspects of this very changing field.
I love that. Everyone take note. Our students, you should take note that you need to pay attention to what you truly love. Yes. Both of these ladies have went ahead and let us know, pay attention to what you love. Right, Aisha? Okay, so let's get to you, Amia. What about you? What was it about your profession that initially grabbed your attention?
Yeah, so for me, I work at IBM, International Business Machines. Kind of funny that you wrote out the acronym, because for a while there, I didn't even know it, because I've only ever seen IBM as like IB and M, and I was like, that was one of our like new hire quiz questions, because like commonly we don't. But anyways, after fangirling about that, what initially brought me into my profession, I believe, is that I've always been very passionate about innovation. Hindsight, looking back on like me as a kid, I was always thinking about how things worked and how I could make them better, or just why. Like when I was younger, my mom tells me the story of like, I used to sit underneath our kitchen table, and we had one of the ones that divides. And so she was like, I would sit in there and just stare at it, trying to figure out how was I going to make the table extend. And so I think that passion stayed with me as I got older. And so that's where I would say, again, making sure that you're keeping up with what drives you. So yes, I lost it in some ways by going into lawyerness, but I still had that curiosity. And so for me, I work in IBM Quantum. And so in the quantum realm, we're out here, we're kind of like driving ourselves with like no guidelines. There's not too much notes. There's not a ton of research on it. There's a lot of it's theoretical. So we're always having to constantly pivot and be flexible, but also be thinking outside the box, because the solutions that we may think are going to work, sometimes they just fundamentally can't. And you have to be willing to accept that and generate a new idea and think, okay, well, I was working with this line of code in all of our other previous systems, it worked, but for some reason working with this qubit, it just does not like it. And so that's what drew me in. So like being in IBM Quantum, and I was like, wow, cutting edge innovation, like front of the like league here. So that's what pulled me in. But what has made me stay in my current position now is I also have a very strong passion for like leading others, and then also being able to problem solve, as Kiki said. And so I sit in kind of more of almost a PM role, so project management, but I'm still like new because I've only been around for about 2 years now. I haven't been here for a ton of time, but a lot of what I do is working on some logistics too. So understanding, all right, this part came in, this is how we're going to build it. Guys, this build is not correct, but who are the people that I need to tell to help make that work? And then sometimes depending on what the demand is, because we are in research and development, that means that you're doing that too. And so that's another part of being in a continuous improvement field, is sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and we don't know what the correct manpower is at times. So sometimes I'm helping with physically building things, helping the mechanical team, where I took like barely any statics, but I'm like, okay, let's sit here, think, take a deep breath. What do you think is the right way to do this? Or just random brainstorming on, the cabling for this system just is not correct. I've built it a couple of times, but I think if we use this different kind of Velcro, it actually would be more supported. And so that's not exactly electrical engineering, but I think at the root of it, that's what engineering is being able to be flexible and always thinking outside the box. And so that's what's really kept me in my position right now. But like I said, I am still very early on and only been here for 2 years. And so something that I would like to pivot into in the future would be maybe getting more onto the software side and just kind of seeing what does continuous improvement look like there. And so I think that's what's keeping me at IBM is because it is a tech company, but we also have products that we deliver, even though sometimes it may not seem like it because you're like, oh, what does IBM do? I don't hear about them, but we're helping power. We have power systems, we have Z systems, and now we have quantum. And so I just think that there's a lot of different areas that you can explore within tech while not only being stuck behind whatever your title is. So
Absolutely. And can you expound a bit on also why software, like why you want to go that route, just in case we have a student that is seeking that, just kind of wondering like, oh, why does she want to keep furthering into the software side? What about it?
yeah, so for me, I know, as we know, computers are growing more and more every single day, and everything is becoming more AI oriented, more Internet of Things. Also, as we all have, even me, I can't say her name, but the ALXA thing there. So they, my Amazon, and there's just such a booming industry. It's such an untapped one too. And then even furthermore, going deeper into software security is super on the rise right now. There just are so many jobs in security. They don't have enough people to fulfill it. And so that's an area where you may be not always having to be hands-on, but it's hands-on in a different way because you're still thinking of new and innovative solutions that just haven't been thought of before. And so that's why I would also like to get into software because I mean, I like working in the office, so I come in every day, but it also gives me the flexibility to work from home more realistically too, because I'm so in the lab and it just gives me a diverse portfolio of experiences.
Oh, you all have heard it. You've heard it. Kiki, was there something you were going to say in response to that? I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I would add is that when it comes to software now, it's kind of like everyone has to know, even if it's just a little bit about software, because tech is changing so rapidly that you don't want to be the ignorant one in a room when they're having that conversation. So, even in my job, I'm doing IT work, right? And so definitely dealing with a lot of software. I don't need to be an expert, but you need to at least, start looking up even what AI is, right? So in high school, I don't know if they're really teaching that as part of your curriculum, but just to be somebody that is trying to progress themselves, you have to learn what AI means, what is, security doing, or what is cybersecurity, because those are environments that we're going into and we're going to be there for years and years to come. So even if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or a ballet dancer, it's important for you to understand what software is doing, just so that, more people than not are going to be having those type of conversations. So you want to at least know and keep up, right? As she mentioned, Alexa, I think don't go off, Alexa, calm down. So it's such a fast growing area, Siri, and then we have Google, right? Bixby, right? So those are all things that we are very familiar with, even in high school and middle school these days. So understanding where that comes from and how that is manufactured and how it's put out there is good for you, because that only makes you enriched, right? And that just even adds to your portfolio as you try to figure out what type of career you want to go into.
That is so awesome. Okay, Amia, let me go ahead. You both are going back and forth. I love this so much. Okay, Amia, why do you think it's important for our young girls, our young high school girls, to consider a tech career?
I think it's very important because there just aren't enough of us out there. As Kiki said, when she went to school, she was one of three. In my level at Iowa State, I was one of one. So I could go my entire day without seeing another Black female. And I think that we do just bring something different to the table. And just like sometimes the way our experiences of having to step outside of our comfort zone so much makes us stronger candidates for engineering. Because as an engineer, if you should never be comfortable. I think that goes for any role that you're having, but I think specifically as an engineer, you should never be comfortable, because And I don't mean like be uncomfy at all times. I just mean always being willing to expand your bounds. And as being a woman in STEM, you have to do that from day one, from that first class that you step in until we get more of us in the pipeline. There, you're just always going to be having to pivot. So I think that just so that there can be more of us, and then also because I feel like a lot of times you're told no. At least for me, I was told no. I had those times where it's easy to doubt yourself early on, but because I strove through that one, got through that barrier, here I am now with a great career and so many different options ahead of me. And I would say personally, it may seem a little bit difficult as a high school student because like we're all still growing, we're all still a little bit rusty and molded. But I feel as though now that I've transitioned to industry, the mindset is changing. And so it's not as uncomfortable to step into these rooms and give my opinion because everybody is realizing the power of having diverse boardrooms. I'm not going to say every single company is that way, but I know that the vast majority of them are really cultivating cultures that are inclusive of all. So yes, if you're going into those spaces now, especially in the more Midwestern areas, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but fight through that and it'll definitely pay off.
Representation and details. Love it, love it. Kiki, same question. Why do you think it's important for our young high school girls to consider a career in technology?
My gosh, I would say because we are honestly so good at it. I'm not tooting our horn. The truth is, Black women especially, I mean, we're built to last, so to speak, right? And we're honestly really good at STEM. I wish I knew that I would be this good at STEM when I was in high school. I know I like math, I like science, but when you think about your nurture around you, what you're taught in school, what society has kind of breathed down your neck, that's not your first choice or what's popping on your mind. But I have seen girls and boys that are very young build, something out of nothing. So that's why for me, it's really, really super important that I'm talking to middle school and high school students to especially of color, to know that you belong here because everyone deserves a seat at the table. As Amia said, they may not always provide a seat, but that doesn't mean that we don't belong there. So we belong more than we even know. So I find, through my career, I actually even appreciate more working in corporate versus even going through school, because I know sometimes with school there's a big emphasis on grades and things like that, so sometimes that gets very discouraging as you're going through and you don't feel like you're being perfect, especially to along with your fellow classmates. But just remember that your biggest competition is yourself, and your biggest fears and stuff are projected either by people, but it doesn't mean that you have to internalize it. So I think that we're also, when it comes to things like, project management, women are actually naturally pretty good at that because I wouldn't say, people always say that we don't need to multitask, but if you had to ask me, I would say that we're pretty decent at multitasking, right? And also the ability to problem solve, that's one thing that women generally tend to be good at, staying calm in difficult situations, right? So I've had to sit there on the flight line when you have to figure out an issue right on front and people are freaking out, and your ability to even stay calm in those situations, right, have really come in handy. So I think that, even the way we think about the world, how we think about things, we're really good at problem solving. And that is one of the biggest bases for someone who is doing science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Right? So you have to be a problem solver of some sort. So my biggest thing I would say is we are good at it, we belong, and we honestly do really well in this space, despite what anyone has told you, projected on you, or insinuated towards you.
Wow, you both have already kind of answered the next question in a sense, but if you go into detail, is there a certain mindset these young ladies, should have going into the tech space? You want to go ahead and answer that, Amia?
Yeah, I would say one that I always have is she believed she could, so she did, is a mindset that I have. I would also say having the mindset that questions are okay. I think that a lot of times in school, it can be, some teachers are discouraging of questions because it makes the lesson plans go longer. It also the fear of seeming dumb. But the thing is, by not asking, you're still ignorant. You're still not gonna know. So what's the worst that happens? You ask the question and now you know, and now that's gonna help you through that next step. Or it just saved you so much more time because you got this answer. Now you can move on to the next problem. So I would say never feel afraid to ask a question. I know early on when I was in school, I wouldn't do it as much, but teachers and professors, they went to school to teach you this. That is what they want. And then also like your company and your coworkers, they want you to be as proficient as possible too. They don't want you sitting here waiting and searching for forever when they could have just easily helped you answer that question to get to the next step. So I'd say always being willing to ask a question. I think going in there and not being afraid to, and not being afraid of not knowing. That's okay. I got a lot of tools in school. I came day one and definitely was still like, oh my goodness, what are they even saying to me? Is this still English? And that's okay too, because to think of the growth that I've had from day one till now, because I continue to ask questions, continue to stay curious, is exponential. So I would say my biggest takeaways are believe in yourself and ask questions. Always ask a question. There's no stupid question. Maybe sometimes it's a little goofy, but that's okay too.
Gotcha. Our BIPOC girls, our Black, Indigenous, our brown girls, same question, Kiki. What's going on with the mindset that they should have entering technology?
One, that it's okay to fail. So piggyback off of what Amia said is that it's okay to fail. You don't have to be great at everything. And heck, something that you actually might be good at in that moment, it just doesn't feel like it. I can't tell you how many tests I got a D on, but I still made it, you know. I'm not encouraging D's, just put that disclaimer out there, but meaning that if it happens, you know, it's not the end of your career. It doesn't mean all of a sudden you are a bad engineer, you'll never make it. Maybe you just had a bad moment, which you're entitled to going through life, right? You have bad moments. The goal or the key is how do you rise up from that, right? So I'm very much a big believer in, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try again. You know, all you can do is give yourself another try. You know, I don't think that anyone can take that away from you, right? You know, and very much so, I believe, you know, how a man thinketh, so is he. That's actually a biblical verse, but I just believe that what you tell yourself and what you allow internalize into your person becomes you. So for me, I've had guidance counselors tell me actually in college that they don't think that I was meant to do this because, like I said, I didn't do well at some point. And so they told me I didn't belong and that I should not be here. So for most people would take that discouragement and, you know, kind of, okay, well, I guess I tried it, this is not working. But I instead saw that as a challenge because I knew within me that that's where I belonged. So that just meant that I needed to challenge myself, change my thinking, and maybe try different things, you know, to be able to move forward. So when I say it's okay to fail, you know, if you need to get a tutor, there's no shame in that. You know, if you need to get a tutor, if you need to be part of, you know, kind of like a buddy system where you guys are staying after school and you're working on your homework together, you're asking questions in a safe space, by all means. If you need to come to your parents and tell them that I'm struggling with this, how can you help me? If it's something you're passionate about, it's okay to fail. It's just that, you know, you just got to rise up from that and then you keep going. So just don't give up, right? Don't give up on any of your dreams.
Right. Awesome.
We have 1
Perfect.
second. I had one more thing that I wanted to add
Go
that
ahead,
kind of
go ahead.
reminded me. So my brother is also pursuing engineering right now. And something that I really had to help him with was understanding that he didn't have to do it alone. So at home, he would just, in high school, he just studied by himself. He's not like, my brother doesn't see himself as very outgoing, but he's very outgoing, has lots of friends. Like, I don't know why he doesn't see it, but he was a very outgoing person, just not academically. Like, he played sports and did all those things and had that group. But what he struggled with his first semester was getting out of that mindset that he had to do it by himself. And so everything is about community and striving more. And that's what the beauty of these programs are. And so, yes, that doesn't mean every single person in this room you have to become friends with, but even just having that one person that is going to be an advocate and help support you can make a world of difference. Having that study buddy can be a world of difference. And I'd also like to echo that they don't have to look like you.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who your community can be. Just make sure that you have a good feeling about them is a mindset that I have. Is a lot of times people are trying to help you and you never know who your best advocate will be and who you will meet and who's going to help pull you up or who you're going to help pull up too. So you don't have to do it alone. Would be my other mindset in tech, because sometimes it can feel like it's a super competition because like you have to have the grades, the GPA, but it's all about being together. We all want to make it, you know?
Right. And to add to that, and yeah, you bring up a good point, is that a lot in tech, you are gonna likely than not meet people that don't look like you. So you don't want to isolate yourself, right? You want to instead tap in to that environment and, you know, work with people to even make these products better. So, you know, people that look like you is wonderful, but people who don't look like you is wonderful too, because I promise you, you're gonna also teach them the importance of having people like yourself in that space. So I feel like that's probably what Amia is doing and myself are doing, is that now we're noticing that there needs to be more people like us in the space. So tapping into that network, expounding your network beyond yourself really helps with that.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, students, drop any questions in the chat. We're going to keep it moving. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead, Amia. What type of prep work or internships did you pursue while you were in school?
Yeah, so I did 2 internships while I was in school. I worked at Arconic, which is a metal rolling company. And so for that one, the prep work that I did was making sure that I did practice interviews. It can be a little bit awkward and you just have to find the best practice interview for you. So I like to just kind of write down my answers and think about them. I use Glassdoor a lot. It's a website that tells you about the company that you're going to work for. It can tell you salary ranges and things like that, but it also can tell you what are some of the commonly asked questions that other employees have had there. And I think that those are immensely useful. And then also in my interview prep, the STAR method, so situation, task, action, and result. And that's how you would answer like their different questions there. And then my other internship was at Rolls-Royce. And so the prep work that hindsight, I wish I would have done when I went to work at Rolls-Royce or when I went to the line is know what the company does. So I just saw Rolls-Royce at a career fair and was like, well, you know what? They make cars. I'm going to go on this line. And so I got in the line, I talked to the recruiter, but like, as I'm staring at the poster, I realized that like Rolls-Royce actually makes jet engines. And so I got up there, it was a little bit embarrassing. I was like, yeah, I love your cars. Like, that seems so cool. And the lady, I mean, she must have had this question like a bunch of times. I was like, actually, you know, like we do engines, but still give me the opportunity to keep talking. So I would say that is one step, like it worked out for me, but please don't do that. Please research the companies before you go there. Please research them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiki, you want to jump in on that too? That's awesome. And another thing, this is a group that loves to ask about, you know, when you start dropping names of where you did internships, they're like, what? So we shall see tonight. But Kiki, same for you, internships or, you know, what did you pursue prep work before while you were in school?
Right. So for me, in undergrad, I only had one internship, and interestingly enough, it was not related to my field because I was in a undergrad. I was working IT for my job. Right. I was on the internet helpline at the University of Minnesota. So I actually got an an internship to work for one of the cities to help update like their website and stuff. So even though it was not aerospace specific, it really came in handy because one, I got out of my comfort zone. Just being in, you know, the realm of school is what I would say that is the biggest thing of doing internships, is that no matter how much classroom knowledge you have, you know, going and having that hands-on experience, it changes how you view it, or it may even help you appreciate it more. So that's what that did for me. And then now when I went on to grad school, it's actually where I had more of my internship or co-op experience. So I got to work for Toyota Motor Manufacturing for over 6 months. So I did co-op there. So I did that for a while, and I got to work on the line for their 6-cylinder engine. So I'm an engine girl. I do love cars. I love planes. So that was very exciting for me. But the part that wasn't as exciting was where it was located. I thought that I was going to Virginia, but I was going to West Virginia. So for me, out of excitement, I didn't really care to know much about where that area was located. And so, but I got to learn a lot about myself and how life is outside of the Midwest. But, as far as the work, the one thing that Amia said is so important is learning the companies and what they do as far as work, right? So fortunately, I've known about Toyota. I've driven Toyotas before, so I was able to speak to that. And I think that that's what helped me. And I think, even just sometimes, when you talk about prep work, I feel like working on yourself and your interview presence actually really helps with that because, as she mentioned, the STAR method helps with that. But even how do you even get to the point of having that interview? So for me, I don't know about you and Mia, but I got my internship opportunity at NSBE, right, which is the National Society of Black Engineers. So, just walking up there, if you are not personable, they're not even going to first give you, because they're scanning your resume in about a minute, right? A minute or two. But you have to have either personality or some type of excitement. Then now they're curious to want to, move on with you. So working even on prepping yourself for how you present yourself to these people, because they want to attract, yes, diversity of thoughts and such, but they also want to create that good working environment, So if you're projecting, ambition, you're projecting excitement, if you're projecting preparedness, whether or not you get the company wrong, that is appealing to them for them to want to interview you and go on. So as she mentioned, other tools that I use now that's a really popular one is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn became one of my best friends and I still use it till date, or Indeed. So there are different resources that you can go to. So it's Glassdoor, Indeed, and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn I like because you, even as a college student, you can connect to people in industry. You will see there, if they're recruiters, if they're hiring interns or full-timers, and you can even ping them. And oftentimes they're not, they would actually respond to you. So I see students who are now going to things like the NSBE conference who have already have an interview scheduled with certain companies because they found themselves being proactive about going to companies that they're interested in, looking up recruiters there and reaching out to them. So they already have that set before they get there. So that's the type of prep work that I would encourage people to do.
Wow, that's awesome. I agree. I totally agree. Thank you, ladies. Let's go ahead and just make this a brief answer. I know this might be tough to keep short, but if there was something you could tell to your younger self, that advice for your younger self, these are our young girls, our high school girls, BIPOC minority girls, what would that be? And if you have to extend, I understand, but what's that core thing? Who would like to go first?
I have a quick one. I would say, don't be afraid to hear no. So don't be afraid to hear no, and don't tell yourself no. Let the companies tell you no, or let the colleges tell you no. I think that I maybe would have made different college choices if I had felt more confident in myself or less afraid of being told no. Because what's the worst that happens? They tell you no. I mean, someone's gonna tell you yes. So yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Good try.
right on the money. That's exactly what I would say. To add to that, I would say, geez, you deserve, I'll keep continuing. You deserve to be here, right? You deserve to be in this space. I think for me, I found my confidence just because I really wanted to do something different, and I was very curious about the world and doing something different. But if I didn't have that, I would promise you that there were definitely a lot of moments of not having confidence or, being knocked down by a no. But don't ever lose your ambition, right? Don't ever lose your ambition and your passion for something just because of the no's you do get. All you need is one yes. You can have 1,000 no's, all you need is one yes. So.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, everyone.
And Also,
go
I
ahead,
would
go
have
ahead.
probably gone to an HBCU if I'm honest, because
Oh,
yeah, didn't know much about those until I was in grad school, to be honest. So
mhm.
mhm.
Yes, minority schools, absolutely. Look, this panel was amazing. Thank you both so much. Everyone give them a round of applause virtually or right there in your space. This was awesome. I'm pretty sure you two have questions for one another. We are going to go ahead and move on with the next portion for our girls, and Days will definitely take a look and see if there is anyone who has any questions, but it's training session time. And so this is through Aspirations in Computing. This is also has been a application that has been extended until Thursday, the 27th. So that is really good for our students to make sure they are getting in the know and doing everything that they need to do. We want to make sure that if the mentors are ready to go ahead and get into that room. I see we have our student. Is there another student? Go ahead and make yourself known. I know we have Zamira. Anyone else? This was awesome. Okay, well, for now, our panelists, we thank you. We will actually reconvene at about 7:23. And you can go ahead and take a break for right now, and we will have you back on for those final questions of the night. I'm pretty sure they are stirring up, and those questions will be from anyone, and we'll have our students priority as well. And we hope that our mentors that are in the room, that you will also answer or ask questions and answer questions as well too, if you'd like. For this is our final night, but to ask questions that our young girls, our high school girls will be thinking about themselves. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and get into the breakout rooms, and we'll be back at 7:23. Daisy, you can go ahead and get everyone in there, and Kiki and Amia, you can go ahead and break until then. Perfect.
We'll start moving people now.
Awesome. Everyone in the rooms, let us know if you need anything.
Oh, I see. I'll put Bailey in there as well. Okay. I think we are good. And opening.
Aisha is a volunteer as well. Let's see.
Oh, see, 1 second.
I saw you put Kiki in one.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people back here. Because I don't think I can move them back into the main lobby. I think that's the thing.
Oh, let's see.
Assigned to. I think I could
Which
message.
one are they going into? Oh, student. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, you got it.
Cool.
Tori, you put Tori in one. I don't know if she wanted to be in one.
Oh.
Yeah, I was wondering
I
if
know.
that was like an environment or something. I didn't know.
She might have something. No, I don't know.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Days.
Yeah.
Days, did you see that link?
Yeah, I'm looking at it
Oh.
right now.
Okay. I was like, just in case they need it. I know Zamira was working on what she left off last time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can hop in there really quick and
Okay. Thank you.
drop it off.
If you don't mind.
I'll be right back.
Yes.
For
Hey, sorry, I just came by to drop off the link. All right, see ya.
See ya.
Start bringing them back in. Or ready. Make sure we're sending them a message to make sure that they are ready.
Awesome.
This
You
has
too.
been amazing. What are you gonna say, Kiki?
Oh, no. I was muted on
Oh.
purpose.
Oh, no, you're fine. It's been awesome. Because I think
Oh dang, that's crazy. We're about to head back and pretty soon here. Just letting you know. That's what I'm here
Okay.
for. Alrighty.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
See
We're
ya.
almost done.
All right, sounds good. See you in a second. All
they're ready.
right. Yeah, they said they're just getting they're finishing up one last little thing.
Okay. As much time as they need.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what happened last time, you all, they were finishing up on something. So it's always good when they're still working together on something and making sure that student or whoever they're with is getting what they need. We also have a parent in here tonight too, so that's always good to see as well. So, yeah.
Sure. Oh.
You want to check again before I share my screen?
Yeah, I can go back.
Thank you.
Dang, I went to the wrong. Let's see. All right, I'm getting yelled at over here. I'm getting yelled at. You know?
Sorry, we're trying to help. Okay, just go ahead and save.
No, I'm just gonna stay in here. You guys finish up. I'm gonna stay here so I don't get yelled at.
Okay. Yeah, let's scroll all the way to the bottom. So you can use your 2 fingers to scroll.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You
And
can
then let's
save.
click
There's a save button.
Save. It might yell it. Does it make you do everything?
I can't find my school.
Um,
My school.
what?
It won't let me save it. I think I have to literally
Oh, you
answer.
might have to do all of it.
Yeah, I'll do it after.
Yeah.
Hey, don't. Hey, you take your time. Hey, I'm here now. I ain't gonna get yelled at in here, so. I'll do what I do. I'm safe in here. I'm safe.
Fair.
It's 7:28.
Oh, that's why she was yelling at me. I think yeah. Hey, wait, whatever you need, that's what we're here for.
You can ask your mom too, I think. Hopefully
Yeah, I
she
could
can.
probably finish it later.
Okay. Sorry, we
Alright.
couldn't be of more help.
Okay.
All right.
Bring us back, Days.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see. All right, there you go. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's four. That's five. And there's me. Oh, I guess I could just close all breakout rooms. That's uh-oh. Oh wait. This the breakout room. Okay. I think that's everybody now. They were trying to save it. They're having trouble saving it.
Okay. Are we all back in?
Yep, no one else in any other breakout rooms. I don't
Oh, okay.
wait,
Wait,
unless I merged them. Delete.
because my screen is a little limited, so I can't see.
See. Oh, yeah. Then yeah, everyone is here.
Okay. Let's see. All right. All right, welcome back, everyone. Students, please ask any questions. Any parents in the room? We'll get those questions in first for Amia and Kiki. What an incredible night tonight. Just gonna double check and see. Raise your hands or go ahead and unmute yourself. This will be a good time since we've already ended for tonight. It's 7:31. Would anyone like to go ahead and unmute? Especially our students.
Yeah, we have one hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute.
Mhm. Was it Carol?
Yeah.
All right, let me see.
It was a hand clap.
Okay, you could say something now.
I didn't have anything.
Oh, it was a hand clap.
Oh.
Okay. I thought it was a hand clap. But no, that's fine. We hope you enjoyed tonight. Thank you,
I
Carol,
did.
Samira. Good. Wonderful. Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Well, Kiki, Amia, is there anything that either one of you would like to say for closing remarks?
Sure. So, well, obviously, like I said, it was an honor for me to be here tonight. I will drop my LinkedIn in the chat. I think, Dr. Wolf also has my LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, if you have any questions that you'd rather ask offline, by all means, please do. I always tell, our younger generation, like, follow your dreams, don't let anything scare you. And also, if you're not scared of your dreams, you're not dreaming big enough, right? And that, one phrase I always say a lot in aerospace is, a lot of the times people say, the sky's your limit. We actually say that the sky is our playground. So reach for beyond the sky, right? So don't limit yourself, follow your dreams. And, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. So.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Amia?
Yeah, I would say my closing remarks are, I know we talked about a lot of those times where it can be a struggle. I would just like to echo that. I mean, I'm having a great time. I love my career. I love what I do now. I just think that sometimes people don't always talk about the process that's there. So I always think that it's good to know, don't be afraid, fight through those things. but it's worth it in the end. I have a great community here now where I'm working at and where I went to school. So yes, there are times where there's struggles, but there's so many other times where it was good that I think that just keep going, keep trying things. And then I would just say, always keep laughing. And then, oh, that was my other thing. I almost lost it. Always, like, when you're in these workshops and things like this, my advice would be write down the names that you're seeing, because yes, you're in high school right now, but you never know where your career is going to take you and who's going to cross your path again. A really short story, when I worked at Rolls-Royce, we had high school interns. And so they worked with us for like maybe 2 months or something. And maybe, and that was probably 2018, 2019. One of those students actually reached out to me and was joining one of the IBM programs that I was a speaker at. And I was like, whoa, what are the odds of this, that like we're really running into each other again? I lived in Indianapolis for that. I live in Minnesota now. And she actually ended up going to, I want to say that it was, I can't remember the university, but she ended up going to a great university and just reached out. And I did remember her because we sat next to each other every single day. And so even if you guys didn't ask a question here now, always leverage that network. You never know, in a couple of years, you may have a question, and we're still always willing to answer. And our careers have probably only grown since then. So we probably will have an even better answer.
Wow.
Good point.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Just in case there's any questions. That is so good, so key. Thanks, Days, for looking out. Anyone gonna unmute or raise their hand? Final call. Okay, well, I definitely want to say thank you on behalf of the Minnesota STEM Partnership. I want to say thank you on behalf of Michael Wolf, Dr. Michael Wolf, who is our executive director. This has been another fantastic night. Another thank you for Jamila Toussaint, who was the panel host for the other 3 weeks. And it's just been my pleasure to be along this journey with everyone. Thank you to all of our mentors, volunteers, friends, everyone who has supported this. We know that this is going to keep growing. The replays are here. I'm so excited for the replays again for myself, because I can learn some more things just watching again. I just know that this was so impactful. Tori, if you don't have to say anything, but she's one of our college students and also with our community engagement for Minnesota STEM Partnership, but you can feel free to say something at this time if you would like. You don't have to, get on camera, but if you just wanted to mention something being a college student, and other than that, we'll get ready to close. Final questions. This has been so good. All right, all right. Checking the chat. All good, Days?
Yep, all good, looking good.
Good, good, good. Well, thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Kiki. Thank you again, Amia. Let's stay connected. Everyone check out the chat and get those links, get all that information, all that goodness. And this is just such an informative and heartwarming panel. I'm so excited for our girls. So you all, we hope you have a wonderful night, a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you again.
Yes.
All right, you all. Take care. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good night.
Thank you.